Good evening, and welcome to the October 25th, 2022 meeting of the Abington Board of School Directors. I note the attendance of all board members with the exception of Ms. Glasser, who is excused. Please rise for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The Abington Board of School Directors has convened this evening's meeting at the Administration Building, and the public is welcome. In consideration of the health and safety of our school community, this meeting is also being broadcasted live on the Abington School District channel. The meeting is being recorded and will be accessible on the district's website and cable channel no later than Friday, October 28th, 2022, to allow those members of the public who cannot participate to view the proceeding at a later time. Comments from citizens will be conducted in person and by phone. Information regarding participating remotely in public comment will be displayed on the screen at the time of public comment. The board thanks the public in advance for its cooperation, and we also remind you that in this space, we hold dignity at the highest regard, and your voices are welcome. Are there any comments from my fellow board members at this time? Mr. Allen?
Nothing, thank you.
Ms. Frazier?
Yes, I'd like to say that for all of those individuals who attended casino night on the grounds of the Abington Fitness Club on Meeting House Road, we had a wonderful time. And if you did not attend this year, consider it next year. It's sponsored by the Abington Educational Foundation. And of course, the proceeds go towards our children's education here in Abington.
Mr. Kay?
Nothing, thank you.
Dr. Mowry?
Just welcome this evening, and especially a hearty welcome back, Mrs. Brown.
Thank you very much. Mr. Muhammad?
Nothing, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Fazy?
Nothing at this time.
Dr. Kleiman?
Nothing, thank you.
Thank you. Any comments?
Nothing at this time.
Thank you, Dr. Melcore. All right, seeing that there are none, are there any additional announcements that may be brought up from my fellow board members? Okay. Dr. Melcore, please proceed with this evening's honors.
Thank you, Mrs. Brown. I ask that you join me for the first recognition
Okay.
at the lectern. So this evening, I have the privilege of recognizing Mrs. Brown and also her husband, Mr. Jeffrey Brown, for being honored recently at the Willow Grove branch of the NAACP annual banquet. President Brown and Mr. Brown were recognized for their service to the community. And as district parents, it's important for everyone to know that the Browns give back to the school community in numerous ways, in addition to serving the community at large. Notably, of course, the time and commitment that Mrs. Brown puts forth in her role as board president is a testament to her dedication in serving residents of Abington Township and the borough of Rockledge. So I wish to present to you a framed certificate recognizing your efforts to the community and to the school district, and appreciation from the district administration and the Board of School Directors for your service to the community. So congratulations.
Atta girl.
You can't have my chair.
You can have mine.
Congratulations again, President Brown. We have a few additional honors this evening. I'd like to invite Mr. Brad Palmer, Assistant Principal of Abington Senior High School, to introduce Abington Senior High School student Joshua Eichhoff, who is the October 2022 Student of the Month for Eastern Center for Arts and Technology. Mr. Palmer.
Good evening, Dr. Melcore, Ms. Brown, and members of the school board.
I'm delighted to recognize Abington Senior High School senior Joshua Eichhoff for being recognized as Eastern's October Student of the Month. At this time, I ask that Joshua join me at the lectern. Josh is recognized for his outstanding work in Eastern's Automotive Technology Program. The Student of the Month Award is sponsored by Eastern's faculty, the Joint Operating Committee, and the Willow Grove Rotary to highlight student excellence, success, and service. Joshua's dad and brother are both Eastern graduates, so he knew the value of a career in technical education before attending. He's loved cars his entire life, especially older cars, so he chose the Automotive Technology Program for his junior and senior years. Joshua has obtained several industry standard certifications through his Automotive Technology Program. During the 2021-22 school year, Joshua participated in the Auto Service Competition for Skills USA, that's Eastern's leadership organization. He received first place in the local competition and fourth place in the district. At Abington Senior High School, Joshua received the English Award in 2018 and 2019, and he's also part of the soccer team. He's performed volunteer work at the Church of the Open Door and worked as a server at the Axe Retirement Life community. According to George Stahl, Eastern's automotive technology instructor, Joshua has a positive attitude and is a quick study. His attention to detail and leadership skills will make him an excellent job candidate after graduation. I'm very proud of his achievements and can't wait to see what the future holds for him. And later this year, Joshua hopes to take part in a paid internship at the automotive shop, and after graduation, he would like to work full-time at a shop and do some restoration work with older vehicles. And so, it's my distinct pleasure to present Josh with this plaque in honor of his outstanding achievement.
Joshua, on behalf of Dr. Fetcher, I do just want to congratulate you. You are an excellent representative of the students who attend Eastern and achieve great success there. And for the board's information, the community's information, we presently have well over 130 students participating in Eastern. And it's a great opportunity for our young men and women of the senior high school to get prepared for their future. So congratulations again. Palmer, if you'll continue and introduce Luis Ramos McMahon.
Yes, sir. Secondly, I am delighted to honor our Abington Senior High School senior, Luis Ramos McMahon. This time, I please ask that Luis join me here at the lectern. Luis is enrolled in the welding program at the Eastern Center for Arts and Technology. Luis was recently highlighted in CBS News to celebrate National Hispanic Heritage Month by recognizing the achievements and sharing the stories of Hispanic American students. I'd like to play that clip for you briefly.
All month long, we've been celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month with inspiring stories, and we have another one for you right now.
Our Victoria Whittle introduces us to a Montgomery County student who's overcome many challenges with the support of his family from near and far away in Puerto Rico.
Luis Ramos McMahon has had a spark since he was little.
When we met him, the first thing that we noticed was how fast he ran and how his smile lit up the room.
So it's no surprise this Abington High School senior found his calling as a welding student at Eastern Center for Arts and Technology.
He brings a light to the class. Like, it wouldn't be the same without him.
I just love seeing the metals form together.
His story is a lot like his trade, a journey with many challenges.
First grade, I couldn't read. I was all I spoke was Spanish.
While he grew up in Philadelphia, his birth parents lived in Puerto Rico. He moved to a few different homes until 2014, when he was adopted by his dad Shane and mom Rachel.
To be a child in school who's not reading fluently, the amount of effort that you have to be making in the classroom and outside of the classroom, it's a lot of extra work.
It was 3 years of us every day at school, after school.
Now at 18, Luis has learned a new language and something important about himself.
I was never really a smart person. I was always like on hands. I'd love to do stuff with my hands. That's how I learned better.
Like learning to weld, his story has taught him and his family the beauty of what can become of something blended.
He definitely had a lot of love early on from his family of origin and a lot of love with his adoptive family.
And every bit of that makes up who he is today.
Looking at my story, I've always fought through things and had people to fight with me.
And this future welder hopes to be a spark for others.
Having your own little pod and having your own little people that will support you throughout anything will help you.
Victoria Whittle, CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
According to Luis, National Hispanic Month is about celebrating who he is and where he came from. Both of Luis's parents were born in Puerto Rico. Luis was brought up in Philadelphia speaking only Spanish. When he was 5 years old, he moved to a predominantly English-speaking neighborhood where he began learning our language. In 2014, Luis was adopted by the McMahon family, and he still holds strongly to his Puerto Rican roots and keeps in contact with his aunt and uncle who currently live in Puerto Rico. He's been back to visit them many times. Luis is currently interviewing for paid welding internships through Eastern's co-op program. This internship will allow Luis to work 4 out of 5 days per week when he would typically be at Eastern. He's able to earn money, earn high school credit, make job contacts in his field. Luis would like to weld locally for a few years and would eventually like to move to Maine, Oregon, or Washington, where there are many welding jobs available. So I am very delighted and pleased to present Luis with this plaque celebrating his accomplishments.
Luis, again, congratulations on behalf of Dr. Fetcher. I know this is a really well-deserved recognition for you and commitment to your future and your education. I know last week you had an opportunity to stop back at Copper Beach and read with students there, so appreciate you also giving back to Abington School District. Congratulations.
If I could, to both Joshua and Luis, I am quite proud of both of you. My father also did tech, so I understand the impact it can have and the legacy it leaves behind, so be very proud of that. Luis, I want to encourage you in knowing that your heritage is a strength. It is never a weakness. Never forget where you come from. Use it. Use that village that you have to continue to grow, because you have amazing things happening now and amazing things ahead of you. Your heritage is a strength, and I am proud of you. Okay. Thank you.
Can I also add to that? You mentioned in the video that you didn't see yourself as smart and that you did things with your hands. Some of the most creative and intelligent people that I know are in the trades, mechanics, and so on and so forth. So congratulations to both of you. I'm excited.
We have one final honor this evening. I'd ask Ms. Ali Artur, Communications Coordinator, to share a video highlighting recent media coverage of Fox 29's Football Friday.
Good evening, Dr. Melchor, Mrs. Brown, and members of the board. On Friday, October 14th, Abington Senior High School had the pleasure of hosting Good Day Philadelphia's Marcus Espinoza for a live Football Friday preview held in the Bobby Bryant Athletic Center. Athletes from our fall sports teams, as well as our cheerleaders, marching band, and color guard, participated in the segment to cheer for our football team ahead of their nighttime game against CB East. The event also served as a pep rally for the Philadelphia Eagles as they continued their undefeated season. I'm happy to share with you tonight this following clip from Fox 29.
So we
so we'll have a lot of fun. Hey guys, the pep rally's a good one here because we're with Abington High School. I'm telling you, man. This makes me want to put a helmet on, put some face paint on. It's fantastic energy here. I'm with the head football coach, Kevin. Introduce yourself.
I'm head coach Kevin Conlon.
And how are we feeling so far about the season? Talk about your men behind you here.
Right now, we're 2-5 right now, but we're competing hard and we're practicing hard every day, trying to get number 3 tonight. That's what we're looking for.
All right. Well, the Ghosts also have a lot of fancy new facilities. Head man Angelo, principal, correct?
Yes.
Is here to talk about that real quick.
Hi, I'm Angelo Barrios, principal of Abington Senior High School. I welcome you today in our brand new Bobby Bryant Athletic Center, our renovated school and gym.
It's beautiful.
Absolutely, it's beautiful, and it's a wonderful facility, and we couldn't be prouder of our kids today and the pure energy that is here. It's just absolutely immeasurable, and we're excited about tonight and the game, and we couldn't feel better about things.
Why invest into the facilities here?
Pardon me?
Why invest?
Well, we invest in our students. That's what we're investing in. I don't look at it as investment in a facility. It's in our kids.
Okay. All right, now, Mr. Fox, I'm here with the football captain. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jamie Rivera, senior captain at Abington High School.
All right, what position you play in ball?
I play running back and middle linebacker.
Okay, so you like to hit and get hit, right?
Yes,
All
definitely.
right, talk to me about this team. You mentioned the record, but the record doesn't tell the whole story.
Nothing. The record might define us, does not define us as a team. You know, we go out and practice every day hard, 5 days a week, and then we go out every Friday night putting our life on the lines, on the field, and doing it as brothers. We're a brotherhood out here. That's what it is.
Now listen, you see my Eagles gear, right? The Eagles are 5-0. How does that inspire you when you get out on that gridiron?
Hey, I was raised in Philly and fell in love with the game of football, so why not? Go Birds! Yes, sir!
Go Birds! Can we get a Go Birds out here? You know, hey, I'm telling you right now, Mike and everybody, this is a special place, and they got some special things cooking here. Who do you play today?
We play CB East High School.
Okay, what's going to happen?
Yo, we're going to go get number 3 tonight. That's what's going to happen.
All right, they're calling the dub, and that's going to be it from us here at Abington High School. The Ghosts are ready to take out CB.
Wow.
Love that energy.
I got Abington, CB. They're going to have a lot of fun tonight.
Football.
That concludes this evening's honors.
Thank you very much. Quite proud of our coaches and head man Angelo. Quite proud. We will move forward with comments from citizens. Comments from citizens are being conducted both in person and by phone. The phone number to participate in public comment is 267-715-3717 and is featured on the screen at this time. You will be able to join in by calling in on your mobile or landline phone. We also have mics in the room to the right and to the left of you. Please be sure to state your name and address. Yes, thank you.
Margaret Adelsberger. I'm at 1507 North Hills Avenue, Willow Grove.
I want to make sure we can hear you clearly. Thank you so much.
I just learned a few weeks ago that our Pennsylvania schools are making available explicit, graphic, sexual books such as Push and Genderqueer, and apparently more to our underage children. These books are purchased with taxpayer money. Since 2010, a determined woman from Chester County has been trying to have these books removed from our schools. On August 24th, 2022, she filed a lawsuit against the state of Pennsylvania for violation of federal obscenity laws. Federal law states, anyone who transfers obscene matter to an individual under 16 years old shall be fined or imprisoned up to 10 years or both. On September 15, 2022, Josh Shapiro, who was running to become our governor, intervened and asked the court to dismiss the case and keep the materials on the shelves and in the hands of our children. Are you people all part of that? Nobody answers? Is that part of your curriculum here in Abington?
I see that you're asking a question. I just want to make sure you understand that during public comment, you read your questions, your concerns, and then there's an opportunity for the assistant superintendent to be able to answer the questions after everyone has commented. So I want to make sure you're aware of that.
I'm not, but thank you.
Not a problem. Thank you so much for your voice. There are mics to the left and to the right of you if anyone else within the room would like to make a comment. Please be sure to state your name and address.
Yeah, hi. My name is George Bazanis. I live at 942 Crefeld Avenue. I have 2 kids in Abington, one at McKinley, one at Roslyn. I went to Abington too. I'm also an educator. My master's degree is in education. It sort of came to me as a surprise last week when my son came home with a paper saying that they're starting the DARE program, the D-A-R-E program. I was a little shocked that Abington still does the DARE program. Those of you who are in education might know that the DARE program was a byproduct of the war on drugs, pretty much the failed war on drugs from the 1980s, which was targeting black and brown communities. Today, you know, marijuana is becoming decriminalized, all that. All you have to do is Google efficacy of DARE. 2 things that, you know, I pulled up right away. One is from PBS. I'll just read you the first paragraph. Since 1983, 26 million American children have participated in the school-based anti-drug program called DARE, officially known as the Drug Abuse Resistance Education Program. DARE costs taxpayers some $600 million a year and makes educators, cops, and politicians feel like they are doing their part in the war on drugs. The problem with DARE is that it doesn't work. At least a dozen independent studies have shown that kids who go through the 17-week program are just as likely to use drugs as those who don't. That's just one study. Another one, all of these peer-reviewed from Penn State's Department of Education, saying that in recent years, DARE has come under scrutiny for being unsuccessful at limiting adolescent drug use, and in some cases of actually encouraging drug use by unintentionally glorifying its taboo status. As someone who went through DARE, I can definitely attest to that with many of my classmates who are like, oh, I didn't even know that drug existed. Critics of the drug prevention program state that the scare tactics employed in DARE programs only further spark adolescent interest in drug use, eventually leading to the proliferation of more drug use among students. This possible lack of efficacy is particularly deleterious considering that DARE costs between $175 to $270 per student. Factoring in costs of the police educators, total national cost is estimated between $1.4 billion and $1.3 quoted here, row 106. That's the, you know, the study, the peer review study. So I'm just curious why Abington is still doing DARE. I just don't see the point of it. Thank you.
Thank you for your voice. Anyone else within the room? Mr. Lutz, can you confirm that we don't have any callers on the line?
That is confirmed.
That concludes public comment. Dr. Melchor?
Sure. With regard to the first citizen, I can't speak specifically to the 2 books that were mentioned. We do have specific board policies in place with regard to purchase of library materials, as well as challenges to materials that are found in the libraries. So those policies and that process can be found on the district website. With regard to DARE, it is a program that has been in place for a number of years. We've discussed it publicly at board meetings in the past as one of the efforts of collaboration between the school district and Abington Township Police Department in providing opportunity for police to be involved in interacting with students and being present in helping to facilitate conversation with students. Our teaching and learning department does work with Abington Township Police Department to review the curricular materials prior to the instruction.
Thank you, Dr. Melchor. At this time, that'll take us to agenda item number 5. Dr. Mowry, can you please read the recommendation for approval of the personnel addendum?
It is recommended that the Board of School Directors approves the changes in personnel as reflected in Personnel Addendum number 5.1 and Confidential Personnel Addendum number 5.1A.
Second.
We have a second. Dr. Melchor?
Personnel addendum begins with item number 1 and the appointment of 4 professional employees for the 2022-2023 school year. Item number 2 is the change of assignment for 1 professional employee, including one who has submitted for 2 professional employees, including one who has submitted the necessary paperwork to change salary class. That was item number 3, change of status. Item number 4 is the request for leaves of absence for 2 professional employees. And I bring your attention to item number 5, the retirement of Mr. Michael Burke, a senior high school mathematics teacher who served Abington School District for 28 years. The addendum continues with compensation for kindergarten screenings, open houses, IEP meetings, interpreter and translation services, hiring of a substitute, and support personnel items.
Thank you. Questions or comments from the board? As always, we like to recognize our retirees. As a fellow mathematician, thank you for your service. Mrs. Young?
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Mr. Kay?
Aye.
Dr. Mowry?
Aye.
Mr. Mohammed?
Aye.
Ms. Fazy?
Aye.
Dr. Kleiman?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye, ayes have it, and motion passes. Dr. Mowry, can you please read the recommendation for approval of the financial report?
It is recommended that the Board of School Directors approves the financial report for the period ending September 30th, 2022, as reflected in addenda number 6.1.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Dr. Melcor?
I'll ask Mr. Lionetti to please summarize the financial report.
Thank you, Dr. Milcor. As of September 30, we received $111.7 million of revenue, which is 66.3% of the $168.5 million revenue budget. Last year, through September, we received $105.5 million, which was 64.6% of the budget. Revenue collections are $6.2 million ahead of last year. Year-to-date, we've expended $33.6 million of our $180.9 million expense budget, which equates to 18.6%. Through the same time period last year, $25.8 million were expended, which is 14.3% of the then $178.9 million budget. The difference of $11.5 million is due to timing of a 3 payroll month and a PSERS payment, both made during 1 month earlier this year as compared to last year. With respect to our capital projects fund, the district paid senior high school project contractors $82,000. That concludes my report. If there's any questions, I'll do my best to answer them.
Thank you. Questions or comments from the board? Mrs. Young?
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Mr. Kay?
Aye.
Dr. Mowry?
Aye.
Mr. Mohammed?
Aye.
Ms. Fazy?
Aye.
Dr. Kleiman?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye, ayes have it, and motion passes. Dr. Mowry, can you please read the recommendation for approval of the payment of bills?
It is recommended that the Board of School Directors approves the payment of bills for the period ending September 30th, 2022, as reflected in addendum number 7.1.
Second.
We have a second. Dr. Melcor?
I'll be happy to address any questions that you may have regarding payment of bills.
Questions or comments from the board? Seeing that there are none, Mrs. Young?
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Mr. Kay?
Aye.
Dr. Mowry?
Aye.
Mr. Mohammed?
Aye.
Ms. Fazy?
Aye.
Dr. Kleiman?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye, ayes have it, and motion passes. Dr. Mowry, can you please read the recommendation for permits for the use of buildings and grounds?
It is recommended that the Board of School Directors approves the applications for permits for use of buildings and grounds as reflected in addendum number 8.1. All permits are subject to change per the provisions of the health and safety plan pertaining to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Second.
We have a second. Dr. Melcor?
The permit addendum contains typical requests for buildings and grounds for meetings and other school events and activities for this time of year.
Questions or comments from the board? Mrs. Young?
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Mr. Kay?
Aye.
Dr. Mowry?
Aye.
Mr. Mohammed?
Aye.
Ms. Fazy?
Aye.
Dr. Kleiman?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye, ayes have it, and motion passes. Dr. Mowry, can you please read the recommendation for advertisement for bids?
It is recommended that the Board of School Directors approves the advertisement for bids as reflected in addendum number 9.1.
Second.
We have a second. Dr. Melchor?
This evening, we have one request for permission to advertise, and that is for air purifier filters. This permission is requested to procure pricing for replacement air purifier filters. Those filters will be used throughout the school year to replace existing filters as necessary, as determined by the air purifier's light indicator, as well as to ensure adequate warehouse stock.
Questions or comments from the board? Currently, we have the supply we need to sustain us until
This comes in, yes.
Mrs. Young?
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Mr. Kay?
Aye.
Dr. Mallory?
Aye.
Mr. Mohammed?
Aye.
Ms. Fazy?
Aye.
Dr. Kleiman?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye, ayes have it, and motion passes. Dr. Mowry, can you please read the recommendation for awards of contracts?
It is recommended that the Board of School Directors approves the award of contracts as reflected in addendum number 10.1.
Second.
We have a second. Dr. Melchor?
We have one award of contract recommended for your consideration this evening. That is for HVAC repairs at Willow Hill Elementary School. Specifically, it's an award to replace the existing controller, and that has been recommended to us as a repair in order to ensure consistent operation of the system.
Thank you. Questions or comments from the board?
Dr. Melchor, is that why we just have the one bid? Because it would make more sense because they've done the work already? Is that how that works?
We currently utilize Johnson Controls, and this would be, in effect, a sole source where it's proprietary equipment. So Johnson Controls is the only company that can work on that equipment.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Mrs. Young?
Mr. Allen?
Aye.
Ms. Frazier?
Aye.
Mr. Kay?
Aye.
Dr. Mallory?
Aye.
Mr. Mohammed?
Aye.
Ms. Fazy?
Aye.
Dr. Kleiman?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown?
Aye, ayes have it, and motion passes. Dr. Melchor, are there any additional reports or recommendations for this evening?
I'll bring your attention to the conference attendance and professional leaves. There are two that I would like to draw your attention to. We have two senior high school art teachers who will be presenting at the annual Pennsylvania Art Education Association Conference on a session on printmaking. And then we also have a music teacher and our supervisor of fine arts, as well as students from the senior high school who will be presenting on our Modern Music Makers group at the Pennsylvania Music Educators Association District 11 Conference in November.
Excellent. Any additional business to be appropriately brought up from my fellow school board members?
I did have one question in regards to the comment related to DARE. What is the line item cost for our district to have DARE in our schools?
It's a program that is provided through the community, through CAPT organization, as well as Abington Township Police Department. So there is not a cost to the school district.
Ask a follow-up question, and I'm sorry to put you on the spot. So if you don't know the answer, that's fine. But when was the last time the curriculum was reviewed by the district, and by whom, and how often does that occur? And again, if you don't know, I know This is very on the spot. So
it's a national curriculum that has been updated recently. I'm going to toss to Dr. Viola, who engages with Abington Township Police Department in reviewing this and setting this up.
So I apologize, I don't have the publication date. Keeping It Real is the name of the program currently. We use 8 of the lessons in our classrooms, and the lessons we reviewed actually just this past summer in conjunction with Devereaux Center for Effective Schools, just to see how it coincided with another health program that we use called Second Step.
Thank you. We are now at agenda item number 13, which is comments from citizens. Comments from citizens are being conducted both in person and by phone. The phone number to participate in public comment is 267-715-3717 and is featured on the screen at this time. You will be able to join the meeting by calling in on your mobile or landline phone. If someone within the room would like to make a comment, there are mics to the left and to the right of you. Please be sure to state your name and address. We'll give our viewers at home just a moment before we move forward. Mr. Lutz, can you confirm that we don't have any callers on the line?
That is confirmed.
Excellent. At this time, closing comments from my fellow board members. Mr. Allen?
Nothing, thank you.
Ms. Frazier?
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Kay?
Thank you.
Dr. Mowry?
Job well done, Dr. Melchor.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. I second.
Thanks for everyone for coming out tonight, and congratulations again to our students.
Mr. Muhammad?
Nothing, thank you.
Ms. Fazy?
Nothing, thank you.
Dr. Kleiman?
Just go Phillies and go Birds.
Dr. Melchor?
Nothing, thank you.
Thank you. I just want to give a quick shout out to the teachers and paraprofessionals who spend time creating after-school programs. There were a lot of them that were on the payment of bills this evening, and I neglected to mention that. So thank you so much for your time and your service. It really does help our students to feel that sense of belonging. With that being said, thank you, Dr. Melchor, and everyone have a great evening.